I'm Dan. We have Angela here. We're
Woohoo!
we're live.
We are.
Um, got a great show. Are we calling it a show? Great live stream for you today. Angela and I are going to be talking about some Facebook tips. I don't know, like so. Let me just start off by saying I'm so used to streaming from the Switcher Studio studio, like our studio, Switcher Studio. So here I am at home. We're actually getting our office renovated and changed up. So that's really exciting. But I heard they're tearing out a wall right next to our studio and figured you all probably wouldn't want to hear that while we were trying to go live. So streaming from home, it's a different thing. I hope it looks all right and holds up all right this stream. It looks to be doing good so far. Yeah, I said that at the beginning because I didn't know where to look. I'm like looking down here at the switcher setup. I'm looking at my monitor. I'm like, oh right, my camera's right here. I should be looking here, addressing you all, our crowd. So yeah, the main goal of this live stream is to answer any and all questions that you all have about Switcher Studio. I saw some great questions in the comments already before we actually went live, asking about networking and how you can minimize some risks there. So that's something we're definitely going to talk about as you all ask more questions in there. I saw another one about drones. We'll absolutely answer that as well. But starting out, we always like to start these with some tips, tricks, troubleshooting, things like that to help make your live streams go a little bit better, a little bit smoother. And today, Angela, you have some tips and tricks about Facebook, yeah?
Yes. So, Facebook, of course, is the most popular destination that we see our users, streaming to with Switcher Studio. And I've noticed recently as Facebook has made some changes to the layout of their website, it's getting a little more difficult to do some of the troubleshooting that we recommend. So, what we're going to do today is show you, first and foremost, how to link your Facebook account to Switcher Studio within the app. But then, if there are any questions you have or any issues that arise, we're going to walk you through things like how to stream to a group, how to reset your permissions if everything's coming through as private, or if you can't find some of your pages. And we're also going to show you how to change your destination. So if you initially set it to go to your timeline and now you want to stream to a page, we're going to show you how easy that is too. So we're going to go over those 4 things with you guys today. And then after that, we're going to go through all of your questions that are in the comments and answer those for you as well.
So yeah, please, as we get going with this, go ahead and ask your questions in the comments here. I know, like Facebook, when you stream to groups and you schedule it, there's like 2 events. So we're going to be looking at the live one right now. So make sure you put those there. If not, we'll always answer those questions afterwards in the comments as well. So we're going to get to as many things as we can today. So yeah, Angela, I'm going to go ahead and let you go wild with this. You tell me what you want me to
Awesome.
show up. I have my computer screen ready to go. I've got the switcher interface ready. So let's get going.
So we're going to start with the switcher interface. We're just going to show you guys how you would originally set up your Facebook account with Switcher Studio. So what you guys are seeing here is, an iPad using Switcher Studio as the main switching device. When you sign in and choose use a switcher, this is the first thing you're going to see. It's called the outputs tab. And you see right at the top of outputs is Facebook. So that's perfect. If this was your first time getting started, what you would want to do is tap on that blue plus sign that's next to outputs. And that's going to show you just a plethora of the different platforms that we are integrated with. So right now, oh, there's an update in the way. Yeah, so it shows all the different ones you're integrated with. At the top is an icon for Facebook Live. So what Dan's going to do is tap on that and you can go ahead and link a Facebook account. So we're going to let this load up. There we go. Now, if you have already linked to Facebook before, it'll automatically sign you back in. So we make it nice and easy. If this is your first time, it'll have you type in your Facebook login information. So this is normally different than what you use to log into Switcher Studio. Whatever you would use to log into the Facebook app or the Facebook website is the email address and password you would put in at that time. So for here, now you have a chance to choose a destination. So you can choose your personal timeline. You can choose any page that you have admin permissions for. It has to be admin, can't be moderator, creator, editor, anything like that. Or you can choose a group that you're a member of. So Dan, for right now, I guess we'll go ahead and pick my timeline, and we'll show how to change that in just
Okay.
a
Oh,
little
I
bit.
see what you're saying. I see.
Yeah.
I'm following you.
Just since this is normally what people link to first. So here's where you see the event creator. This is where you're creating your stream. Note that this does not mean you're going live right now. You're just creating the event. So you're able to put in a stream title. You can put in a description for the stream. That's one of the most important parts. We always say put in, a great description to let your audience know exactly why you're going live, what they're going to see. If there's any special guests or clips, make sure to mention those in there. Yay, Angela's awesome.
You told me to put
and
a good description in there.
yeah, and that gets people to tune in. So right below that, for those of you who have questions about connection and Wi-Fi, I'll go ahead and mention this and we'll go over it in more detail later. You have this optimized connection to Facebook button, and underneath it you have 4 quality options. A lot of times when we see issues, your network is not able to handle the quality you're setting. And this can be confusing because most of you guys who write in have awesome internet speed. So you're getting that high speed, you're wanting to put HD, and you're still having some issues. There's more that goes into it than just the speed. So what we recommend is when you're creating the event, if you're on location already, tap that optimized connection for Facebook button, and it'll show you what you can handle for your network.
It's gonna
If
run. Yeah, that's going to run a speed test for you.
Yeah, and that takes a little bit, so we won't do it right now. But it'll take you usually about 30 to 60 seconds to complete, and then it'll set the quality. Now, if you do want that HD and it's telling you medium or high, you can write into us, and we'll send you tips on how to be able to get to that HD level. So right below that is an option for share with. By default, this is everyone, so that means it's public. Anyone who goes on Dan's timeline would see this particular stream. But if you tap on it, you can also change it to friends only and only me. So that way you can kind of control what's going on. If it's something more personal, you can do friends only. If you're testing this out, pick only me, and that means only you, while logged into your Facebook account, can see the stream. So you can practice to your heart's content and no one will be watching. Below that, if you are subscribed to our standard plan or our plus plan, or if you're on a trial, you can practice with scheduling and cross posting. The Essentials plan does not have those features, so those are some options for you. And once you're done, you can tap that orange Create Live Stream button. And what that means,
Important
again,
note: we are not live when we do
yes,
this.
that's what I was about to say. When you tap that, you are not live. You've just created the event. So don't freak out. All it means is you've created it, and you can see now that title of "Hey, we're live" that Dan just made is programmed in, so you know it's saved. Now this gives you a chance to set up anything else you need, and when it is time to go live, you just tap that big red circle in the top right corner, and that's going to actually make you live. When you tap that record plus live icon next to it is going to light up. You're going to see a timer of how long you've been live. That circle is going to turn into this little white square, and those are your ways of knowing, hey, I'm actually live at this moment. And when you're done streaming, you just tap on the square that's going to appear, and it'll change the screen to look back like this in the top right, where live and record is grayed out, and you see the red button again. So if
Yeah,
you're seeing it like this, you're not live.
yeah. The reason I didn't do that with Angela is because we're already live here, and I don't want to
Double stream.
double stream might be a little tough for this home network here. So, yeah, that's basically it for how to set up and go live with your first Facebook stream.
Yeah. So now we're going to show you guys 3 troubleshooting steps. These are what we see most often in support. The first one is quick and easy, and it's actually done on this iPad as well. So we see Dan just set up a stream to his timeline. So if he goes to make another event, which is done by tapping the blue arrow to the right of the word Facebook, it's going to come up and have him make another stream for his timeline. And a lot of times you don't want to go live to the same place, especially if the timeline was just a practice. So we're going to show you how
Yes.
easy it is to change your destination.
Yeah, and before we do that, I stopped the broadcast here, or not the live broadcast, but I stopped the screen sharing on accident. So let me get that going back up again, so you all
Screen
can, of course,
sharing.
see what's going
Follow
on.
along.
Yeah, give me 1 second to get that back.
And while Dan's setting that up, just so you guys know, after we show you how to change the destination, we'll also show you how to set up streaming to a group. There's one additional step for the first time you stream to a group. And we'll also show you a great troubleshooting method of changing your permissions. So those are some things coming up in the next few minutes. And you will need a computer for the last two steps, and we'll walk you through those as well.
You ready? Drum roll, please.
Yay!
There you go. I saw like I pushed the arrow over here to put it up, and I didn't see it go live. I'm like, what's going on? Where is it? And of course,
There we go.
troubleshooting, figure out what could be going wrong and fix it.
Yeah. And yeah,
So back
again,
to what we were saying was you're telling people how to switch their destination.
yeah. So you see when Dan tapped that arrow, it comes back up to the pop-up window for my timeline. So let's say he wanted to go to a page. What you would want to do is tap on that gear icon, and that opens up another menu. From there, you can choose new destination. It's the very top orange button. And this is going to take you back to that original screen where you can choose a timeline, a page, or a group. So this is how you can change where you're streaming to at any point. Again, for pages, you have to be an admin. For groups, you do not, but an admin does have to complete one of the processes that I'm about to show you.
I was about to
So
say, should we show them that?
we're going to show them. Let's go ahead and do the groups next. So this is what you need to do anytime you stream to a new group for the first time. You're going to need an actual computer for this. So mobile won't work. Facebook's app won't work. You need to be on a desktop computer with a browser. So right now we have one of our testing groups open. If you try streaming to a group and you haven't done this, you're going to get an error message. It normally says error 200, group streaming not enabled. So this is how you fix this. To do it on your own, you must be an admin. No other permissions, just admin. If you're not, reach out to an admin and they can do this as well. They're going to need to go to the group on Facebook.com on a computer, and you'll see a sidebar on the left-hand side called Manage Group. So at the very bottom of this is an option for settings. You're going to click on settings, and you're going to be taken to the settings window. At the very bottom, there's apps. You're going to click on the pencil icon beside apps. And now there's a pop-up window. So we've got Switcher Studio in here, but if we didn't, you would click on the blue Add Apps button, and that is going to open up a bunch of different apps. Now, you don't want to scroll through all of these. So on the left-hand side is a search bar. You can type in Switcher Studio, and after you type in Switcher Studio and search, it's going to pop up for you to add it to there. Now, right now it's not showing, and that's because we already have Switcher in here, but normally it'll show just a rectangle with the Switcher Studio icon, and you can click on it, choose add, and you're all set. You can now stream to that group anytime you want. You just have to do this one time for any of your groups. I do want to let everyone know this is the new Facebook desktop integration. They've been rolling this out for about 2 months now. It seems like most people are on this version. If you are still on the original layout of Facebook, we do have steps in our help center that show pictures with the old version. We will be updating as well in the Help Center very soon to show these new steps as well. But most people are
Yeah.
on this new version.
I'm
Follow
gonna be
these steps,
honest.
and that's how you do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I got this new version earlier this week is when it rolled out to me, so I'm happy to have it. But Angela, I have a question. I linked my wrong Facebook account and can't unlink it. What do I do?
That is perfect timing. So we are going to show you how to reset your permissions and your integration. So that's the perfect timing for this. Again, you do need Facebook.com on a computer. So not the app, not a mobile site. Usually when people can't find these steps, they're using some kind of mobile device. You'll see at the top right corner, there is an arrow. You're going to click on that arrow, and from there, you're going to click Settings and Privacy. So this is going to take us to the settings of your Facebook account. So this is not for a group or anything. This is for your account. From there, click Settings. It's the top option. And you're going to be taken to a settings page. At the very, well, not the very, but towards the very bottom of the sidebar is an option for business integrations, and you're going to click on business integrations. It's going to show you everything you've ever given permissions to for your Facebook account. So when you find Switcher Studio, click on the view and edit link that's to the right of it, and it's going to show you everything you've given permissions for. If you scroll to the very bottom of that, there's an option for remove this app, and you're going to click on that. So this is going to release the permissions from Facebook's side. Now, after this, you're going to go back
Oh,
into.
we're not over.
Hmm?
Okay,
Hmm?
where do you need me to go? I'm sorry. I thought we were ready. All set.
Well, that's half of it. That's the big part. So from there,
Yeah.
you go into the app itself. So again, back to that outfits tab where we just created your event, and we're gonna tap on the blue. Oh, there we go. There you go. Yay! So from there, we're gonna tap on the gear that's in the top right corner, and we're going to tap on Unlink Accounts. So now Switcher Studio does not have permissions for Facebook, and Facebook does not have permissions for Switcher Studio. So we now have that original link your Facebook account where you can log in from scratch. Now we don't want to do that on air because then you'll see Dan's password. We don't want that to happen. But this is used if you want to switch your Facebook account. But also, two things we recommend this for even more often than that is if you first set up Switcher Studio, you link Facebook, and you don't give it all permissions, it causes some things to not work. So some people, when it asks you want this public or private, will choose private. There's nothing wrong with being a private person, but they choose private. The issue with this is then when they do want to do a public stream to a group or to a page, they run into the issue of only I can see it or only my friends can see it. So what you have to do is go from the start and give permissions to everything. We also see this happen with pages and groups where they say, I'm an admin of 4 pages, but I can only see one, or I can only see half of my groups. Again, you didn't give all those permissions. So log in, give access to everything. Remember, after you do that, when you're creating individual events, you set the privacy. So even though you've said everyone can see these streams, you can make one friends only or only me. But if you restrict in the beginning, you're not going to have everyone see it. You're not going to get all your pages. You're not going to get all your groups. So this reset is good for those as well as for if you originally logged into a Facebook account and now you need to log into a different Facebook account. And we do have steps for all of these in the Help Center as well. There's an article called, I forgot the exact name, but it's like changing your Facebook account. And it'll walk you through those steps. The steps are the same in the resetting Facebook integrations and permissions article as well. And it'll walk you through those. There is one slight change from the graphics in there. Originally, when you tapped on that arrow in the top right, it just said settings and took you directly to where you can do the business integration. Now you have to click on settings and privacy, then settings, than business integration. So again, one
It's pretty.
small thing.
It's pretty
Yeah.
self-explanatory. You should be able to see it. And I think I see a couple switcher employees in the comments here with Matt and
Yay!
Asia. If one of you guys could maybe find that article and post it in there for us, talking about Facebook and permissions, I think that could be super helpful.
Awesome. Yeah, those are the main tutorials that we had for you guys. But of course, we're still going to be live answering your questions. There were some great ones in before we even went live. There's more coming through
I see.
now.
I know. I see some great questions here, and first I see in here, Chris Strub is in here and
Hey,
saying
Chris.
he's glad I caught you live today. And Chris, it's great to hear from you. Chris is a great follow on Instagram and just Facebook. He's doing some awesome stuff live streaming. Has a cool story. So for anyone out there who wants to check it out, check out Chris Strub. But he's got a couple questions in here too that we can answer quickly. First, asking about multi-views. If you have an idea, go ahead and email us, support@switcherstudio.com. And we'll take a look at them. We'll see what's possible. We're never going to be done with Switcher Studio. We're always going to try and make it be the best thing possible. So yeah, make sure to email us those with your ideas, and we'll see what's possible. Another one that Chris said here, just kind of going up the list, and I see a couple other people in here saying like you guys are the best. So Tyrone, thank you so much for
Aw, thank you.
those kind words. But Chris was also asking about, do you guys have any insights on daisy chaining adapters into an iPad? Would daisy chaining prevent me from getting audio into Switcher? That is a great question. That is a really good question. So yeah, with Apple, a lot of times you have to daisy chain things to get it working. Right now, I'm using a multi-port adapter, USB-C charge cable, and I have my microphone here, an iRig mic HD2, all going in. So yeah, there's a lot going on. How Apple handles audio is whatever the most recent thing that is plugged in. If it can run audio, that's what it's going to think is going to be the audio source. So what I mean by that is a lot of times someone might be doing HDMI out to show their switcher production on a monitor. And they also have audio running into there. Well, if you do something like that, make sure that the HDMI is plugged in first and then your audio is plugged in. If you're not seeing the right audio option there, you're not getting audio, try unplugging and replugging your audio source back in. So that is the most recent thing you connect. But yeah, that's a great question, and I can show you guys here actually. Let me go like this. We're not troubleshooting that anymore, but I'll make sure to tell you guys to ask your switcher comments here. If we come over to the audio tab, so I tapped on the one that looks like a wavelength down in the bottom right. This is the audio tab. This will show you what's coming in from. So right now it says built-in mic because I don't have anything plugged in. If I plug something through the headphone port that this device does have, it'll say headphone. And then if I put it through the lightning, it'll say lightning USB/audio. So that's a good way to know where your audio is coming from, is to check there first. Also make sure you see the green view meter next to your source, and that's also at the top is what is going out. You have the mute button up there if you did need to mute your mic to make sure no audio is coming through. So that's another thing to check. Make sure you didn't accidentally tap the mute button. But yeah, audio, just make sure the most recent thing you connect is your audio. Let me just get to the other ones here that I'm seeing live. Number of minutes. Is there a limitation on the number of minutes of a video that is displayed from Switcher Studio? Live videos to Facebook, I think, could be 4 hours long. If you're like doing a pre-recorded video, I don't know. Angela, do you know if there's a limit? I've seen some people do some pretty long videos.
So the limit really just depends on your storage space. If you can get the video in and you set it to play, and of course you have a connection. When we usually see connection issues, it's people's first streams where they're still kind of working some things out. So if you know you're on a dedicated network and you've got the storage space to put the video on in the first place, you're able to bring that in. Now, Switcher Cloud, I'm pretty sure does have a limit, so I would not recommend importing that with Switcher Cloud. But if it's on, your Photos app on your main device, or you can bring it in with Dashboard or Google Drive, it's going to take a while to import that to begin with. So make sure you're not doing it right before a stream, but you can keep going as long as you need to. Kind of to the point Dan just made, we do not set a limit on how long a pre-recorded video or a live stream can be with Switcher Studio, but some companies do. Facebook, I think at this point, you can go beyond 4 hours, but it's not
You can. Do you
archived.
know why I know
Yeah.
that? Because our lovely engineer Ernesto just commented and said Facebook videos can be 8
Yay!
hours now. So
They've doubled it. Yeah, so they're trying to give limits. As far as I know, YouTube and Twitch, I don't think have a limit. I'm not sure about LinkedIn or Microsoft Stream. If you do have a longer broadcast and you're concerned about a limit, a lot of times we recommend pre-scheduling them, posting a schedule beforehand, and whenever there's an intermission for lunch or something like that, end your stream and then start the part two, and make sure to label it as part one, part two, however many parts you need, so that way people know what to find. It's also good in the description of each part to list what you're going to be seeing. So whether it's a play, you can say like act one, or if it's bands, these three bands are playing in part one. So that way people know when they come later on what to expect and where.
that's excellent insight as well. So I'm having trouble. I see that there's 19 comments here, but I don't see all of them here. So if we miss your questions, guys, I'm really sorry. I can see like the four most recent comments here. So yeah, I'm gonna stay on this page to make sure I see those come through. I see Tyrone asks, SwitcherCast, does it work good with all Windows computers? You're gonna want a newer computer to run it. It's Windows 10 and up. Is that right, Angela?
Yeah, Windows 10 and up, and you need, for best results, I know an i7 processor, and I forgot the amount of RAM we recommend. Now, those are for best results. You do need Windows 10. It's not going to work with Windows 8 or 7 or anything like that. We've seen some issues where people can't connect, and it's because they're not on Windows 10. So there's not a way around that. If you have like an i5 processor or you have less RAM, it can work. We do have users who've gotten it to work, but it's just not guaranteed. Or if you do, it might not be as high a result as if you did have the bigger processors. So if you go to our help center and search SwitcherCast for PC, it'll show you the requirements that we list. If you're hitting right under those, but you still have Windows 10, you're more than welcome to try it. Like I said, a lot of people have gotten it to work. It's just not guaranteed, and there's not much we'll be able to do to help with troubleshooting until you've met the minimum required stats. But again, the biggie, Windows 10. If you do not have Windows 10, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Great. All right, let's talk about some networking here because I see another question in the comments asking about what are the drawbacks of using reinforced Wi-Fi mode. I see it often suggestion. Why would we not want to use it? I'm going to go over that because some of the comments that we saw on this video or on the post before we went live were talking about their videos being delayed or they had to shut it down because the network wasn't showing up, and how can they stop their network from dropping out. So let's talk about some tips and tricks there and how to deal with networking problems. So first thing, reinforced Wi-Fi mode, which here I can show you where you can find this setting. It's going to be in your outputs. If you scroll down, you see Wi-Fi optimization mode, and you have these other things here. So there's low latency, standard, and reinforced. This is how much of a delay there is between what's happening in real time and what you're seeing in Switcher. That delay is how we sync up our cameras and make sure everything is synced up, the audio and video, everything is ready to go as we push it out. Low latency mode is really there if you want it to be as close to real time for just your monitoring. So like it's there. I've seen people who want to display Switcher on a big screen at like a live event. There is like a little bit of a delay, and sometimes that's okay for them, and that's when they'll use it. I want to say the delay is about 200 milliseconds, while reinforced is 600. I want to say. I honestly use reinforced Wi-Fi for everything. You just see a little bit more delay in your preview windows, but that's really no biggie. It gives the network so much more time to process the video before you send it out. So that's why I always recommend using reinforced Wi-Fi mode. Unless unless it's really confusing or hard for you to follow with that delay, I would always use reinforced Wi-Fi mode. I can't think of a single time that I have taken it off. Whoops. I pushed the wrong button. There we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a permanent addition on my side too. Again, as long as that delay is not an issue. And for a lot of people, it's not. For those of you who go to a lot of concerts or big events and you're used to seeing people using things other than Switcher, there is usually a noticeable but not really distracting delay between what's shown on a big screen and what's actually happening on stage. I would say 99% of the time, just leave it on. Don't worry about turning it off. Leave it on. It's going to give you that peace of mind. It's going to help to keep things under control. You don't want later on to have had like lag or something in a really important stream because you didn't have that on. It's your security blanket, basically.
Yep. Um, it's also great to see that we can get ourselves fact checked live as we're here. JC is putting in the SwitcherCast minimum requirements, and Ernesto put up an
Yay!
updated what the delay is. So reinforces close to a second. It's 1,000 milliseconds. So a little off for me.
Thanks to the
But yeah,
team.
thank you guys. Like that's great information. Thank you for adding that in there. So back to networking. If you're experiencing drops, I know one of the people was saying that they're waiting to get fiber in their church because, and so they've been they've been having to rely on cellular data to stream. Which can be a little limiting. A lot of cellular plans, especially if you're going just from like setting up a phone as a hotspot, it's not really made for that kind of video. So like sending out a whole bunch of video and bringing a lot down, it can work. The biggest things I can recommend are minimizing the devices. So maybe only having one or two angles. Be okay with lower quality. Try a low quality stream. Especially when you're watching on a phone, it's going to be okay, and people are going to see it. So that's another thing. You can also move your cameras closer together. Will also be another really important thing. Another thing I see a lot of times that happens with people is they end up, testing a network and it's just an open network and it works really well when they test it. But then when they're live, there's a lot of other devices in the room and a lot of other people connected to that network as well. And the more traffic you have, it's just the harder it is for Switcher to keep up and send the video through, and to make sure that that video is staying at the highest quality possible. So, yeah, that's why I recommend. You can also bring your own network if possible. Like maybe a place has an internet connection and they have a router, and you can plug your own router in and create your own little bubble, so just you're on it. That's another option. We have a whole section in our help center talking about networking, and that's another really great place to check this stuff out. Angela, did I cover everything? Forget anything you can think of?
I think you've got it all. I would say the most important thing to remember, and this is what I recommend to a lot of people who are having dropouts, especially if you've been with Switcher for a while and now something new has happened and you're experiencing lag or drop frames or even the stream ending. A lot of times, as Dan mentioned, try reducing cameras. If you have recently gotten more powerful devices or you've added new devices, Or if you're brand new and you're trying to do like a 4, 5, 6 camera setup and having issues, try dropping it down just one at a time. A lot of times it's just that line between, I can do 3 or 4 and it's completely fine. And it's when I add that fifth, I start having issues. And again, if you need that fifth camera, write into us at support@switcherstudio.com. Let us know what's going on, and we can send you tips on how to get your network, stronger to handle more devices. But especially for getting started, drop the number of cameras. If you have to use a public network, if you can't use private, if you have to use public or you have to use a hotspot, really, really, really recommend reducing the amount of cameras you have connected, and of course reducing the quality. Like Dan said, most people are watching this on a small screen, so choosing medium quality or high quality is still going to be great. If you do need something HD, remember you can also activate director mode, and that way when it's all said and done, you might have streamed at low, but you've got this beautiful footage for later on that you can upload to a website or something.
Yeah, so speaking of director mode, I see a comment here from Ray asking about it seems like he's having some problems compiling the video. Um, the two things I would check there are one, make sure that switcher's open on all those devices, still connected, not just open, but all like connected like you were during your production for the compiling or sending all the videos to the main device. And then you go into the recorded media, tap on the file, and it'll start transferring all the files from there. That's the first thing I would check to make sure that they are going over. Also, make sure that you have enough storage on the main device for every single angle. That could be another issue. If you check our director mode document on the help center, just follow those steps again, make sure. And if you're still running into problems, of course, please email us at support@switcherstudio.com and we'll take a look at it from there and make sure we get that figured out for you.
And one thing I also recommend that I do see sometimes in support, if you've done a very long production, like we're talking hours, or if you are on, a slower network or a network with less bandwidth, sometimes it's just a matter of, the comment we get is it takes forever to transfer all those files. Like it's been 2 hours before it's done. You can actually use your computer with iTunes, or for those of you on Mac Catalina, you can use Finder. And you can transfer the individual recordings from your main switching device onto your computer and then quickly dump them all immediately from the individual cameras onto a computer and then dump all of those angles into the main switching device and eliminate that process. So the downside is you are connecting multiple things, moving something over, disconnecting onto the next, but it really is super fast. If you've got a production that's hitting at least an hour, or if it just seems like it's taking forever, I highly recommend it. And we have a guide for that as well in the Help
Mm-hmm.
Center. You can search either director mode or iTunes. It's really easy. It's one of my favorite workarounds. If you've done something that's 30 minutes and your network's decent, it's not really worth it. Just use the recorded media option to transfer with Wi-Fi. But for something longer or on an unstable connection, it's about 5 minutes start to finish, and it's going to save you that headache of waiting for the transfer time.
Yeah, that's very true. AirDrop works as well. I've done that quite a few times as well. So, yeah, that's also great information as well, Angela. All right, I see Chris is experimenting as we speak right now. He says he's using a USB Ethernet adapter, so it sounds like he's trying to beef up his network. That's another way to do it. Wire your cameras in, and he's asking, should it automatically detect like audio does? If so, does it show up somewhere? Chris, what you're going to want to do with that, connect it, make sure it's getting power too. Using an Ethernet adapter, you're going to need to have a power. Some of the small power bricks from like Anchor are too small, so you're going to need like a robust one or plug it into a wall to get a really, or to have it work at all, just because those Ethernet adapters do require a powered connection. Also, there are a ton you can buy out there. I recommend using the Apple official ones because they're made to work with Macs and iPads and things like that. So they're just going to work a little bit better. I'm not saying the other ones won't. I'm just saying that I've seen a lot of mixed results where it works really well one day and then the next day it doesn't work at all. Once it's connected, you can actually go to your general settings and you'll see it'll say like right under where it says Wi-Fi, it'll show an Ethernet connection. You don't need to turn off your Wi-Fi, but I typically do just to make sure I'm 100% using Ethernet. So just toggle off your Wi-Fi, and you can click on the Ethernet option and it'll show you like it'll give you your IP address and make sure it'll show you have your network running through the Ethernet. So there is that. Thanks for Ernesto's telling me I was using numbers from a previous version of the app. Of course I was. Oh man. Last thing I saw, and I'm sorry it took us so long to get to this question, but I saw this on the original one. Someone was asking about drones. How do I get a drone video into Switcher Studio? The way to do that is with iOS screen sharing, of course. You can't directly bring in like a phone or a drone's video footage, but of course we have iOS screen sharing, so you can capture whatever shows up on an iOS screen. There's a article in our help center, I believe, about this as well. If not, I know I wrote a blog post about it a while back. But the workflow I used was getting a DJI Spark and the little remote that comes with it, and we plugged the phone into the remote, and you can actually do this like a free fly mode, I think is what it's called, and it just gets rid of everything on the screen, on your screen, so then you just see that going. And yeah, it works. We've done some streams like this, so if you search like on YouTube Switcher Studio drones, you might see a live video show up. I know we did a live video on Facebook a while back, showing this off, so that is another place you can see that. So yeah, Angela, do you have any other thoughts? I think that's most of the comments I see here. I know we got to the ones beforehand. Yeah, I guess I'll say to those of you who are watching live, thank you for joining us. It's always great to get into these groups and to answer your questions, see what's working well, and just making sure our goal at the end of the day is make sure you guys are making the best live video possible, and we want you to be doing that with Switcher Studio. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're watching this after the fact and didn't catch it live, still ask your questions here. You can comment on this video. You can comment on the group. Send us an email, and we're happy to help you, answer those questions. So we'll get to them anywhere and any place we can.
Yeah, and what I'll add to that, whenever you have questions, not only can you ask them in this group and we'll get to them, but also emailing us at support@switcherstudio.com is an awesome way to get in touch. A lot of times you'll talk to Dan or I or multiple other members of the team, including some of the ones who jumped in today, and we're happy to always help you out with those questions. Of course, we're going to keep kind of alternating days and times to try to make sure we hit a time that someone can jump in. If you always miss the live broadcast and you really want to be here live, comment on this video and let us know what kind of time range or day range works good for you, and we'll see if we can accommodate that for a future stream. Or if there's a stream topic you'd want to see, we always start these with about 15-20 minutes of instruction. Let us know what you'd want to see. If it is kind of an isolated thing, we'll still bring it up on the next stream and, kind of go over the process in a comment. Like as a comment, but if it is something we see quite a bit that we think would be really beneficial, we can dedicate a broadcast to it, just like Facebook today.
Yeah, I'll also mention we've talked about the Help Center. Getting answers there is a great place. We also have our YouTube channel as well. Just search Switcher Studio. I think it's youtube.com/Switcher Studio. You can find a lot of tutorials there. These videos will be archived there as well as on this group. So yeah, really just keep making videos. If you run into questions, please reach out to us in all those ways that Angela and I just talked about. And yeah, thank you all who are watching right now for tuning in, and thank you to the Angela and the Switcher Studio team members in the comments. correcting all my mistakes that I have.
Yes, thank you guys.
All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.
Yeah.